Those that work, they're keeping that area in and around 6th and 7th Avenues completely clear, because obviously if this falls, they don't want anybody's life in $1 million.
Stone is standing by with the very latest there. Jeff, what's going on?
Well, Keisha, Jerry, we're back on the ground here because conditions have deteriorated, and what I'm talking about is that the wind has picked up substantially, and also we're seeing some rain. Albeit it's not heavy, but the rain is coming down for the first time today in some sort of a clip. Just take a look behind me here. This is Catherine Street, and what you're seeing here, obviously there's some police tape across here because officials don't want people driving down here. That down there is Cozy Beach Avenue, and basically right now it's covered in water, but the water has receded a lot since a couple of hours ago. That's when high tide occurred, and right now the water is kind of going back, but don't let that deceive you, because later on this evening, as you've been hearing, the storm surge, it will pick up again, and it's expected that this area will flood along with Cozy Beach Avenue and of course some of the homes that are right on Long Island Sound. Again, as we mentioned earlier, the mayor here in East Haven has declared a 7 p.m. curfew for this area. This is the mandatory evacuation zone. They don't want anybody here. They don't want anybody, past 7 o'clock walking around trying to take pictures, because it will be dangerous, especially when the sun sets here. Just want to show you over here. You can see the water there. It's kind of blowing around in the wind. The wind has picked up. It is not doesn't seem as breezy as what you're talking about down in the southeast portion of Connecticut right now. But again, the gusts do come and go. The trees are blowing around down here. And again, officials are making sure that people are safe. We did see the National Guard drive up and down Cozy Beach Avenue several times today. The fire department has also driven as well. So the people who are sticking around kind of up on the hill here, they're watching and waiting and seeing what happens as sand
going downhill fast, and he says if you leave, you're putting your life in danger. Tonight are a big concern. He wants everyone to be very careful. The governor is banning all trucks from the interstates, and he wants drivers to stay away too. But tonight he also wants everyone to be very worried about the flooding as well. The water could wipe out some of the big power substations and cause widespread outages. He says this will be a very tough situation for a lot of people, and the state is prepared to see damage that could be catastrophic. The governor will be airing that live right here on NBC Connecticut. Reporting live in Hartford, Ilana Gold, NBC Connecticut News. Jerry and Keisha, back to you.
Ilana, thank you. And of course, Ilana mentioning, and we can't stress it enough, the governor is asking, as this storm continues to progress, asking everyone to stay indoors, be it in their homes or in a shelter.
And his next scheduled news conference is at 6 o'clock. We will, of course, carry it live with updates from the people from the utility companies as well. Now to Fairfield, where Stephanie Jimenez is live. Steph.
Well, guys, we're here at the South Benson Marina. Before, when I was here live, I told you that it was windy, it was gusty, and now you can add wet weather to that. I also want to show you these waves right behind me. They are crashing along the shore here. Now, we were told that the waves were as high as 5 feet earlier this morning, but that's not what we've seen. We've just seen them coming in with more and more frequency, and in a way that is sort of a good thing that this weather has continued to deteriorate, because it is stopping people from coming here to the beach, which is something that police say they are very relieved about. Now, earlier I had told you that some 7 streets here in Fairfield has flooded. I spoke with police. They told me that, but they are are telling me that some people have refused to leave even though they're in those areas that are under a mandatory evacuation. Police are right now sending some of their first responders to Fairfield Beach Road to rescue people from their homes as these conditions here continue to deteriorate. Live in Fairfield, Stefania Jimenez, NBC Connecticut News. Back to you.
All right, Steph, thank you. Chris Coffey has been spending the afternoon along the beaches in West Haven, Morse Beach to be specific. He has this report.
I want to show you just how strong the wind is here in West Haven right now. I'm on one of the public beaches near Chick's Seafood Restaurant. I'm struggling just trying to walk towards you. Take a look over here at these waves, choppy waves, big waves. They're not humongous waves just yet. No telling how high they will get as Sandy gets closer. But this is the scene right here in West Haven, one of the public beaches. Earlier, we caught up with some people who wanted to take a look at it for themselves.
We live actually right a block in, so we're just checking out where the water is right now just to see how close it's going to get in if we have to worry about flooding.
Have you ever experienced something like this here in West Haven before?
Yeah, in West Haven. This is my first time.
And we also spoke to some people who live here in West Haven who say during Tropical Storm Irene, this beach was covered and the water came all the way over the road and into the parking lots back there. We'll keep you up to date on everything going down here on the shoreline. I'm Chris Coffey. Now back to you.
Chris Coffey bringing us the latest there from West Haven. Conditions rough. When he filed that report a short while ago, we can only imagine that things are getting much worse now.
Looking over at the Weather Center, Ryan Hanrahan and Garrett Argianis are monitoring all of the information coming in. And Brad Field is here to tell us what they're seeing.
Well, Jerry and Keisha, we're seeing hurricane force winds in parts of Connecticut, specifically southeastern sections of Connecticut, and we're showing you live pictures from New London. And that poor American flag has seen better days. It's been ripped to shreds here with hurricane force winds. We had a 75-mile-per-hour wind gust at the Groton New London Airport, and one tick better than that at Ledge Light. We had a wind gust of 76 miles per hour. Right now in Groton, it is raining. It is 65 degrees. As I said, that gust is 75 and 45% of the area without power at the current time. Now, how about inland? We've got some live pictures to show you from Waterbury, where the lens is totally encased in raindrops. Waterbury doing better on the power outage situation, 869 outages there. And let's see, in terms of rainfall, we've told you all along that we are not on the rainy side of the storm. We are rather on the windy side of the storm. So we are looking at the wind potentially continuing to gust in that 55 to 75 mile per hour range for a few more hours, but then the wind will start to diminish as we get past 9 or 10 o'clock this evening. But the coastal flooding is the big issue, the severe coastal flooding lasting throughout the evening. Once we get past midnight tonight, the situation will start improving along the Connecticut shoreline as the water recedes and the water is able to get out of Long Island Sound. So the whole idea here is everything's faster. The storm is moving faster, and the storm will be over as we head toward the midnight hour. So Keisha, I guess I'm going to send it back over to you.
Absolutely, Brad. We've seen the situation deteriorating in Old Saybrook. That's where Jeff Stecker is standing by live right now. I believe he's at Saybrook Point. Jeff, take it away.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you actually said to me. It's getting so noisy, it's getting hard to hear. The first thing I want to show you is what the water looks like now. This is the seawall, and the waves are just crashing right over top of it. At this point, it appears that sea level is the same as the seawall here in Old Saybrook. This parking lot here at Saybrook Point has completely flooded over now, and small waves are actually forming in this parking lot. Dave, just look at the trees right over there. You can see how much the winds have really picked up, and the mist off of the water here is just intense. Actually, let's go back to the water, Dave. I want to remind everyone where we are. We're near the mouth of the Connecticut River, but folks, this is the Connecticut River, and look at that water just churning up. Now, to show you the kind of damage we are starting to see, this just happened about maybe 10 minutes ago. this is what we're going to be looking at. This is a pretty big tree right here on the property, and it came down and it made a nice loud noise. That is a giant tree there. We're expecting to see an awful lot more of this. And again, if we can go back to the parking lot here, this flooding is happening in lots of side streets around Old Saybrook. And this is the kind of thing that they were concerned about. And this is why they wanted people to evacuate. Right now, a lot of these streets are flooded over just like this, and you should not be driving a car through this. When we talked to the chief of police down here, he said, that's one of the things he was worried about, people who try to evacuate when it's too late and then they try to drive through water like this, and it's perfectly unsafe. Let's go one more time back out to the water, Dave, if we can. And that just that shows you what we're looking at right now. And remember, as Ryan and Brad and our other meteorologists were saying, we should be experiencing low tide here in Old Saybrook at about this hour. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens as the tide comes up and the storm gets a lot worse. That's the latest here in Old Saybrook. For now, let's send it back to you guys in the studio.
Jeff, can you hear me? Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you. Yes, yeah, I can hear you, Keish.
Jeff, what was the approximate timeline that's passed since the last time that we saw you, when you said it in maybe about a half hour, the conditions had gotten worse, to now? What is the progression of the storm where you are? Okay,
I think I heard what you're asking me here. Dave, come on down with me. It's so loud I have to sort of stand next to my photographer here. All right, if you look at the gate there, the fence there, when we got here maybe about an hour and a half ago at our first live shot, the water was below that, and some of the waves were starting to crash over it, but the parking lot was completely dry. Oh boy, this is a nice blasted seafoam in the face. What you can't see right now is I'm holding my photographer's back, and I'm holding us up right now so we don't tip over. The parking lot now is fully flooded over, and this was dry about maybe 45 minutes to an hour ago. So the water is coming up at a relatively decent clip, and so this surge is moving in, and it's pretty strong. Keisha?
Hey, Jeff, did you even hear that tree come down? Were you aware that the tree was coming down?
I didn't realize what was happening. I was actually in the live truck.
To remind you that Geico has delightful customer service, we have a special video just for you. Young collies in love. Cue the music.
On their bullhorns, ordering people to leave. Oh, my cameraman's just turning around right here to capture the shot. They're coming out here. They've been out here all day, and what's been happening is the police are coming out here. They're working their hardest. They're trying to get people to leave, but people are just returning back over here despite those orders. They're not listening to the police. So that's kind of the situation out here. It's becoming really difficult on the police officers and the fire department officials doing their best to get people to leave, but people not wanting to listen. That's the latest here in Red Hook, New Jersey. Amy Dardashtian, CBS 2 News.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Let's take you south to where Chris Raggi is in the Mobile 2 unit, and he's been getting a nice picture of a really nasty surf in Spring Lake, New Jersey. Chris, what's it look like now?
Yeah, Maurice, Christine, probably not the smartest move I've made. I've gotten out of the Mobile 2 unit for a second so we could actually kind of give you a little bit of a perspective how the wind is picked up here in Belmar right now. And also the high seas. I can't imagine there was another camera in the tri-state area that's getting you closer to the actual storm surge here with Hurricane Sandy as it continues to get closer and closer to the boardwalk. And then, of course, here to Ocean Avenue, we've seen some minimal breaches along Ocean Avenue about the past half mile or so down through Spring Lake. The wind, as you can hear, the wind has picked up enormously here within the last 45 minutes to an hour. Like Lonnie has been mentioning, we're waiting for this storm surge. Again, my cameraman Eddie, who's braving the elements with me here. This used to be about 50 yards of beach. As you can see now, it's almost mesmerizing to watch the tide and to watch some of these waves. Lonnie was talking about 20 to 25 foot waves. We have seen some enormous waves come crashing into the beach here within the last half hour. The tide keeps getting bigger and bigger. We're expecting tonight we'll have a full breach here in Belmar over Ocean Avenue. Now mind you, this little hamlet of the Jersey Shore, about 5,700 residents, there's a mandatory evacuation. And I'm sure as you can see around me, not everyone is taking heed to that mandatory evacuation. Come this way, you see this gentleman who's, I don't know why he's on the boardwalk, and then some people across the way in these condominiums. Let me talk to you for one quick second, sir.